click a subscribe button.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Queening Out. It's your girl, Miss Laganja Estranja, and here with nominated podcast co-host Joseph Shepard.
Well, thank you.
By the way, did you delete your Twitter?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I was trying to tag you, and I was like, where is he?
Yeah, I deleted Twitter probably the week after Elon Musk bought it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good for you. Did you go to Threads?
I did, but then I stopped.
Okay. Well, I don't know that I ever loved Twitter to begin with.
I like Twitter to rant, but I think that what started happening is that I couldn't rant anymore.
Yeah.
It just became like anything I say can and will be held against me in a court of law.
Right.
And it's like I could have an opinion of something that was like so minuscule and it's a joke to me or an
Sure.
inside thing, and I like put it up and then people are like, no, you're an awful person. And it's like,
yeah. Well, I don't know. It's weird, especially because people think of me as like the catchphrase queen, but like I had a hard time like coming up with something cute and pithy in that small amount of like characters we were allowed. Like, I don't know. I feel like people like Katya and Trixie, like Bob, they're so good at it because everything they say is hilarious and a quick little quip. But I don't know. I feel like I'm more funny in conversation than like an actual like, here's a joke. Ha ha ha. So I don't know. I just never loved it. I did love the fact that we got a lot of news from Twitter. I always thought that aspect was cool.
That's mainly what I used it for.
Right.
So like, to be honest, I still use... So I do use Twitter to get a lot of my news. But the thing is that because I...
Deactivated?
I rep like different comedians and stuff, and I have to post on their Twitters. I see it from there, so then I'm like, I get my fix, but I'm not actually subscribed.
A part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth on deleting it, but then I'm just like, it's a platform, it's numbers, it's analytics. It's like I just have to keep it, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. Well, speaking of Katya, I saw the Terrifier 3 with Katya.
Was it fun? Your text to me was hilarious, by the way.
I have never in my life seen a movie with Katya first place.
Right.
Somebody to Katya's nature on another
planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I get to the theater and there is a lot of people. And I had no idea. I was like, oh, it's a film festival and it's at the Egyptian, and the Egyptian theater holds 575 people. And it was all sold out.
Wow.
So
this was the third one, right?
Yeah.
So it is quite popular. It has like a cult following.
It does have a whole,
Okay.
And this was the West Coast premiere too, I guess you would say. So we're all in this line and it like wraps around, and then Katya texts me and she's like, hey, I'm here. And I said, oh, find me in the line and, come and join. And then she walks by me and she's with like a guard or whatever. And she's like, oh my gosh, like, I'll be there in a second, blah, blah, blah. I think that I have to follow this man. So then she ends up in the very back of the line, and she calls me and she goes, I feel really bad about cutting all these people. And I go, I have your ticket. What? You're not cutting anybody. And she's like, I just feel really bad. Can I come up there? And I was like, yes, you can come up here. What are you doing?
I love this story, though. I feel like that's so not typical Drag Race behavior.
No.
Most of the girls I'm with are always like, we're not waiting, right?
Yeah.
And like, I am very that girl who will get in the line and just wait. Because I don't know. I feel weird walking in front and being like, I'm Laganja, let me in. Plus like the embarrassment of what if they're like, who?
Yeah.
So I don't like that. I'd rather just wait and be safe. But I don't know. I just thought Katya would be one of those girls that was like, oh no, here's the guard.
So nervous.
We're going to be, walk to the front.
No. And so
I love that.
She came and she joined me. We talked about horror movies until we got in. And then once we got in, the thing is that the theater was like a free-for-all.
In what way? There were no seats?
Wherever.
Okay.
Oh, there were no seats.
Oh, well, you know what I meant. No seat assignments.
Yeah, there were no seat assignments. And I have not been in a theater who hasn't had seat assignments in forever.
Right.
So Katya and I are like walking up and down. There is no two seats whatsoever. And Katya looks at me and she goes, I feel like we're probably going to be sitting apart. And I was like, oh no. And then all of a sudden there's this girl, and this girl looks at Katya and she goes,
oh.
So the girl let us sit next to her. And she was
so
super
wonderful.
sweet, super wonderful. Movie started, and as I told you, I felt like it was a 4D experience. Katya was grabbing my arm every second she could get. I was getting slapped. I was getting hit. I was getting pulled on. And I was like, wow, this is really like a 4D movie experience.
I love it. Yeah.
But it was a hoot. Seeing a movie with her, especially that type of movie, and seeing what she was reacting to, because the kills. I will say that I know this is a cult movie. I know that it's very campy and very stupid and very gory. The acting was better than the past two. The kills were crazy, but as Kati and I described it, they were not
gratuitous.
I don't know what you would call the word. Katya felt, and I agree with her, that the kills in the last movie were very mean, as you would say. Like they're very,
as I would say. What is that supposed to mean?
No, I'm saying as you would say, like in general. No, they were very mean and like they weren't as comical. And these were comical. Like, and it was very like funny and over the top, and the kills were crazy, but it wasn't like as like, oh my gosh, like this is disgusting and you don't want to watch it anymore. It was like disgusting, like, ooh, what the fuck's going on?
Right.
But it was great, wonderful.
I mean, you know, I love horror movies, and I knew that you loved this movie, so I tried it.
And it wasn't for you.
I just couldn't get into her. I don't know. I think maybe it was the camp element. Mm-hmm. I think I like a traditional classic, like I'm actually scared. But that's not fair to say because traditional horror is camp. So I don't know. I couldn't get into her, but maybe I will try the second and the third to see how I'm feeling. Maybe things have changed.
I need you to see the movie that I saw on Friday night.
Which was?
The Substance.
Okay, what is this? I've not even heard of it.
Every gay in the world is talking about this movie and how great it is.
Well, I'm trans. That's why I didn't hear.
It's Demi Moore.
Oh, I love her. She looks so good. Her new work is flawless.
Yes. So
and Brad Goreski always has her styled up to the T.
Oh, yeah. She is like a fitness TV girly. Like she's like one of like the aerobics type girls. Like she has her own show or whatever, and she's had it for years, and she's really popular and famous. And she basically leaves the show one day and she hears her boss basically saying she's going to get fired and they want to hire somebody younger and prettier and this and that. So on the way home, she gets into an accident and somehow, some way she's at the doctor and she basically learns that she is a potential for a new procedure. And the new procedure is basically
the substance.
The substance, yes. And
see what they did there.
It allows you to kind of like think of like an egg yolk and how an egg yolk can like split into two egg yolks. So that's kind of like what it does to you. So it basically will, every 7 days, you're a new, prettier, better version of yourself. And then the other 7 days, you're how you regularly are.
Okay.
But you
can't. So still pretty and gorgeous and wonderful.
But not the 25-year-old version of you.
Yeah.
But the thing is that anything you do as the 25-year-old self or however old she is.
Right. Has a ripple effect.
Kind of like that, yes. Okay. And then there's also the aspect of like whatever this younger version of you does, you don't necessarily know what she does until you either see it like on TV or see it like other ways. Like you don't know. You have no consciousness of what the other person's doing.
Weird.
And
so it's like psychological sci-fi thriller.
And very disgusting because like the second you like comes out of your back, like it like your back rips open and then it's like this whole thing.
Well, sounds kind of cool though. I'm a little like with sci-fi, but I would give her a try.
I think you should give her a try because I just want to talk about it because I had some.
That's why you really want me to go.
I had some very mixed opinions.
Okay.
And I got eaten alive.
Oh, okay. By who?
Everybody on the internet.
Oh, you went public with your opinion.
All I did is I just put up my Letterboxd score.
What's
Do you have Letterboxd?
No.
So I got to the point where I started forgetting like what I was watching or if it was good or not. You know, sometimes when you're high.
You're kidding. How dare you forget what you watch? You know, everyone who watches this gets so mad when I don't know every little second of Drag Race.
I forget every movie.
I don't know what you said or when you said it, but I know I felt a type of way. It's very that. Hello, I've been that way since Drag Race, y'all.
And so like there'll be times and I'll like be looking at Netflix and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I watched that movie, but did I like it?
Right.
I can't remember.
Okay.
So basically Letterboxd is like an app and has all the movies or whatever. And once you watch a movie, you can rate it and give your like little review. But so then that way, you know, for future, you can also share it to the public if you want. So I just took a screenshot and put it up there and I gave it a 1 star and I was just.
Well, now why am I going to go see a movie you gave a 1 star?
Because everybody else is giving it like 10 million stars.
But I feel like I'm not going to be that girl.
I feel like you're going to come in and be like, Joseph.
I loved it.
This was amazing.
It was brilliant.
I loved it.
LOL. Well, we'll see. My friend's trying to get me to go see the second Joker. Have you seen her?
I haven't, but I've heard.
I know people aren't loving it, right?
No, because I guess they didn't think it was going to be a musical.
Well, I love musicals, and sorry, uncommon popular opinion maybe. I didn't love the first one. In fact, I just watched it last night for the first time, and I was like, okay, Like, it had its moments, but Oscar award winning? I don't know. I think I want to see the second one just because I love musicals and I love Lady Gaga. But I hear that it's slower than the first one. And I'm like, well, the first one was slow. Are you going to go see it? No. So it's just not for you.
I'll wait till it comes in on the TV.
Are you an AMC A-lister?
I used to be, but I'm not anymore.
You gave it up.
Well, because they changed the AMC theater that was right next to me to a Landmark now.
Bastards.
And it's like, I don't like going to the Grove and watching a movie.
I'm with you. I hate the Grove. It's like for white people and people who like Disney.
And then like all the tourists too. And then did you say people who like Disney?
Yeah. It just doesn't it feel like Disney? Like when you're there, I'm like, I'm in Epcot or some shit. Like it's like so. At Christmas, I will admit, I kind of live for her.
Oh,
because it does feel like, well, it just feels like a magical wonderland. But like on a Wednesday in September, no, I'm not feeling her.
I thought you were going to sing that Ashley Simpson song.
On a Wednesday, I was waiting. Yeah, of course, I love her. Oh my God. Well, I definitely read the comments from last week, and I saw that so many people are excited about us figuring out what we're going to do once this season of Global All-Stars is over. And I'm excited to let you all know that we're actually going to go to a little dinner, our early lunch, late lunch, whatever you would call it. A linner. Perfect.
Yes.
To talk about this. So we're very excited. We would love to hear more of your ideas. Keep them coming. We definitely are working on a plan to deliver a podcast to you that isn't Drag Race centric, which I think both you and I would really enjoy.
And I think too, I mean, if we could start having a day where they come out on the same day, I know that all of you at home will be happy too. You know?
About what?
If the podcast comes out on the same day every week.
What do you mean? Oh, okay, right.
Our schedule's just on a line all the time.
You know, I like to think a lot of people that follow me are stoners, and I think stoners get that, you know. It's hard to stick to the sketch.
Oh, it is.
I haven't posted on YouTube in months. I was doing so good every Thursday, 420, but yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard unless it's like your real job and that's all you do is like, I just do YouTube. I just do TikTok. It's like we do a myriad of things. So thank you for those of you who are patient with us. And thank you for those of you who watch on my channel, your channel. You know, sometimes people will come over to my channel because I always post after you for those who don't know. And people will be like, this has already been posted. I'm like, oh, you're new here. Well, I feel like we should do some emails since we're just talking about the comments.
Yes,
let's see who sent us an email at laganjos@gmail.com. That's LAGANJOES@gmail.com.
Okay. I'm about to read an email, and I have not read it yet, but I see the name on the email, and it's actually my dad, so I'm... Okay. We're going to do this.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. I haven't had the chance to see Queening Out the season until tonight. Laganja, I love you. Thank you for being strong and representing. Joseph, I'm your biggest fan. Thank you. Your creativity, ability to speak your mind, but respecting others is endearing. I'm so sorry that you've had a challenging relationship with your mom. While I don't understand the verbal abuse, I do believe you're the bigger person for continuing to try to get her to understand everyone is an individual and have the right to be who they are. You and so many others like you dealing with unfair situations and closed-minded family need to know that you're loved. For 50 years, I hid who I am for the fear of rejection and discrimination negatively affecting my career. I finally got tired of hiding in the closet and made a decision that my life and mental health were more important than how I was viewed through someone else's lens. Publicly coming out at the age of 60 was hard, but I am non-apologetic and happy to be me. My message to your audience is to be you, be strong, and continue to educate your family and your peers. Vote your beliefs. It's important. Find a new family in your community, but continue to bring your genetic family into that circle. I hope Laganja reads this on your next show. Well, it was me. I love you, Pops.
Oh, that was so lovely.
You. Yes.
That was so lovely.
I think one thing for me is I get very I don't know if it's nervous. I just, thank you. There's not really much I can say. I'm grateful. I'm happy that I do have a family member or a couple family members that do support and do. And I need this sometimes, I think, more than what I realize. I think I've had a lot of conversations with Isaac and stuff that we're in an industry that gets critiques all the time. We're in an industry that, comment section is what it is. You put up something and you are at everybody's disposal to be judged. And I think that I, from having somebody in my family who was very judgmental of everything that I did and not necessarily getting the praise or the admiration or the, oh my gosh, you did this, good job, good luck from my mother, I think it really just like fucked me up on the inside to where when I put out a piece of work or if I put out whatever, I don't even enjoy that moment because I just constantly think like, is somebody else going to like judge me? I'm getting this. Isaac does this thing and I love him to death, but he does this thing where he will joke around. And like if I put something out or whatever, and he'll be like, "Oh, Mary, your hair was X, Y, and Z," or "Oh, blah blah blah," and I understand it's a joke,
right?
But I think sometimes I just want to hear, you know what you did was a good job, what you did was good, and then you can talk about the negative,
right?
Because I feel like for so long it's just always been there hasn't been a positive behind it, and I think I can go and do these podcasts or I can come up with these shows, and it's something that I spend my time and my effort and my energy on, and then if I'm not getting, I know it sounds stupid, but if I'm not getting a, hey, you did a good job, or hey, you did this here and there, it's very, very is like demeaning to the creative process.
Sure.
And I think that maybe my skin would be a little bit thicker if I had the support that I needed when I first started doing this stuff from my family members or from whatever.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, Pops. Thank you, Dad, for that. I did need that. So
that was awesome. It's so beautiful, and I'm happy to see that, you know, there are people in your biological family that love you, that understand you, that accept you, that praise your honesty and openness. I think that that's really special that your dad watches this. I'm very grateful that my parents do not. I feel like my mom watches everything I do, and sometimes it can maybe, you know, stunt me being who I am because I know she's going to watch it and I don't want to say something. And I know she doesn't actively watch this. So it's kind of nice for me. Not that I really say anything on here that I wouldn't want her to hear, but I do feel a sense of freedom with the pod. I do feel like a sense of just being able to say kind of whatever we want in that moment. And I think for me, why I got emotional while you were talking is it was just striking a chord with myself. I think, you know, I'm very tough on myself. And, you know, it's like today you were like, who do I have to beat up? And I'm like, me. So, you know, I'm going through my own things that I don't really wish to talk about right now, but I can relate. I can relate to, you know, I did have support and I do have support. So I'm very lucky that both my mom and dad and sister are so tight knit and that we have the love. But I think for me, the lack of support is myself. So, yeah, it's interesting because I've been so strong recently, getting through the surgery. And I guess the follow-up to all of this has been hard because I was on such a high and I was like really there for myself. And now that I'm like starting back work and life and, you know, I just feel myself sort of slipping into old ways. And, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to be your own worst enemy or to be the person who stunts your own growth. So, yeah, I think, you know, not saying you blame it on your parents, but having another force that you know is responsible for something in a way to me sounds nice because it's like when you know you're your own worst enemy, that's like very hard to get over. Whereas when it's someone else, you're able to distance yourself from them. You're able to set a boundary. And I know we can do that within ourselves. And that's what I'm actively working on. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's just why I got emotional. Because when you were talking about if you'd had the support, you know, that you would have maybe been in a better place in this industry and felt better about yourself. And like I said, well, I can't relate that to my family. I can relate that to myself. So
I agree with that 100% because it's kind of like you said, like you are your own worst enemy. And I think that I just became a bigger worst enemy of myself when I just wasn't getting the positivity or even this and that. And
but that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like, I think that it's me now having to deprogram all of these things that are in my head.
I think as queer people, we're ostracized at a very young age, and that creates us having to build a tough skin. And I think, especially as a trans person, sometimes that tough skin we build blocks us from being one with ourselves, being true with ourselves. And I think, you know, what I will say about what I'm sort of experiencing right now is like, you know, it is amazing to have a beautiful body. I love it. Did it solve all my problems? No. And that's a challenge, I think, you know, as a queer person, as a trans person, something that I'm going to, you know, continue to face throughout my life is that, you know, we can look good. We can smile, we can, you know, do what we need to do as entertainers, but that doesn't always mean we feel that. And I think some of our most favorite entertainers in life were deeply depressed. And that is something that I've been so open about and that I, you know, do struggle with. And, you know, today just happens to be one of those days that I'm struggling. And that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. And I feel that. I really do feel that deeply. But it does make it challenging when it is our job to be on camera, to be smiling, to be laughing, to be talking about a show that, let's face it, you and I love, but have talked about for a decade. You know, it gets a bit monotonous, which, you know, I think the people that really watch this pod, they know that. And they're like, look, we love the Drag Race. It's fun, but we're actually here for the two of you. And that's why, again, I'm just excited about us figuring out how we can do that. Because I do think that there is something so much bigger here than just reviewing a queen or giving our opinions on something. I think it's our vulnerability that also has tied us together and made us such a strong partnering. I feel safe with you. I feel like I'm able to be myself. I'm able to cry. I'm able to express. And that's not something you find often in this industry.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. And I think that me doing this with you has led me to understand myself more in a way that I didn't necessarily know. Like how I told you too, like whatever, a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't comfortable saying my opinions on anything, whether it be whatever, or opening up about my life. And I feel that connection with you. I feel comfortable doing it. I feel like it's a safe space and our audience isn't judging from a perspective of, oh my gosh, you did this right, or that's bad, or that's blah. They kind of like want to know.
Right.
And that's the exciting part about it.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely see our audience shifting and it makes me really happy. And now when people come on and complain about the fact that I just love Alyssa, I'm like, oh, you're new here. Like, you know, and I'm starting to realize like, okay, like that is still a thing. We're still going to have the occasional drag racer stumble onto our pod and be like, what's going on? Do they even watch the show? And that's fine, you know, but I love that we are really cultivating people that are more interested in like us just talking to them. Like I saw a comment where someone was like, I honestly could just watch the two of you talk and read our emails. And I'm like, great. I'd so much rather do that than have to watch Drag Race and give an opinion on something that ultimately, like I said, I wish it could just be fun and not work anymore, you know? And I think that's honestly why I've started watching the UK is because it isn't something I'm reviewing. It isn't actively a job, and I can just watch it for fun with my other friends who love Drag Race, you know? And it feels a little less like pressure. Whereas like this week, I really was like, okay, I'm going to watch this episode. I'm going to really pay attention because I felt that, like that people were mad that I, you know, wasn't. But ultimately, I can't wait to not have to do that.
Well, let's go ahead and let's take a break. We'll come back. And you know what? We're going to get into the episode.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And we are back with more Queening Out, here to break down this week RuPaul's Drag Race Global All-Stars episode 9. Okay, I thought it was 9.
I think it's 9.
Look at me. See, someone's paying attention.
It was 9. It's the
.1 for me.
the Reunited Nations Makeover Extravaganza Palooza. I just added a lot.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right, Alaska. She added all the titles.
Reunited Nations Makeover.
Well, wait, before we get into the whole like pairings, I just have to say the first 5 to 10 minutes of this episode was my favorite I've seen of the whole series.
Why?
Alyssa telling Nelly, you came over here to jumping and scrumping and doing all that with them crunchy toes. Girl, that was hilarious. It was the first time where I really felt like we saw Alyssa Edwards in all her glory. And I think ultimately, you know, because she has been with the younger kids and she has been with those that are very much more on the upbringing of let's be friends, let's be nice. She hasn't really done her real like Alyssa-isms. And this was the first time where it was like, okay, Nelly was in on the joke and they were playing together. And I just loved that because it reminded me of old school Drag Race. It reminded me of everything she's taught me. You know, when I first started this whole drag career, I was a little scaredy cat. And I didn't say much. You know, I'm a dancer. I'm not taught to speak. You listen and move your body. And so, you know, Alyssa was hard on me. I mean, and she will tell you this. Like, she treated me like a little brother. And I mean, she punished me many a times with her words. But, you know, it did. It built this tougher skin and it built this. Now when someone reads, I'm able to read them right back, and like it can be fun and it can be in jest. And I felt like this moment is really what that was. Now obviously later in the episode we saw Queen Kong come from Nelly, and it wasn't that, because Nelly wasn't in on the joke and she wasn't firing back, you know. But with this particular moment with her and Alyssa, I just loved it. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny when she kicked that foot and Alyssa was like, that wasn't even 90 degrees. It was just, I don't know. It was like good old school drag reading, but everyone's having fun. Yeah. You know? And I just loved it.
I did too, and I just thought it was funny, the banter that they had, and like, oh, who would win a lip sync?
Yeah.
It was just like it was a good moment.
It was a hoot and a holler for sure.
And I feel like that has been what we have been missing this season,
right? Of
Global, we have not really seen personalities of any of these queens.
Well, and that's what I mean. I think a lot of them, they are nice queens, so they're not going to read each other. They're not going to give you the sass and the drama, because that's just not who they are. And I totally get that, but it's also like, okay, casting, how did we not get some more, you know, like, because again, did I love the way that Queen came for Nelly in the end? No. But did I love that she had a strong opinion? Yes, I did. I think that's what makes the show interesting, is when people have strong opinions that are opposing. That's real life, you know? So I don't know. I like I said, the first 10 minutes of this episode, I was like, okay, this is my favorite episode so far. I just loved it. It was so fun.
So we had the mini challenge of Who Is She? So where
where they raised the paddles, yes,
and they had to say who they thought was doing whatever, and whoever got the most points would win $2,500.
Tessa was crushed.
Oh, she was crushed quite a bit.
I was shocked at that too. I thought they would all vote for Vanity.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on, that seemed weird to me. I was like, why Tessa?
Or is there like something we're not seeing? And also, Vanity's been in the bottom multiple times.
3 times, right? So I was like, okay, no, she's clearly the one to go next.
Queen Kong ends up winning, and she gets $2,500, and she gets to assign the makeover partners. The makeover partners end up being all the eliminated queens. They come back.
They've never done that before, right? It's always other people.
I feel like they've done it on some franchise, but I don't know. Okay. It may have been a different franchise.
Maybe on, a spinoff. But I don't think we've ever seen that on the American one, at least. I feel like it's always been like men, not like other queens. I don't ever remember that happening. Someone in the comments will let us know. But I liked it. I thought it was great that they brought them all back. I thought that was fun. So
we had Alyssa Edwards with Ava LaQueen, Kitty Scott Claus with Miranda LeBrow, Queen Kong with Soa Demuse, Nelania with Pythia, Tessa Testicle with Athena Leakes, and Vanity Vane with Galavaro.
Perfect.
There you go. And I thought the pairings were pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was excited to see, you know, what is going to come of this. Was there any moments that stood out to you before we got into the runway?
Let's see. Like, just like them and the workroom. Well, I think there was some fun banter between Miranda and her partner about the makeup and the looks, and it was Kitty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about like, I've never been this basic, and I thought that, again, that was fun.
That was funny,
Shade. It was like a good environment. I really liked that. And then, I, from immediate just knew that I was going to love Alyssa's stuff, because she had a whole concept with the bees and the hive and the hair. And I was like, oh, I really love that she approached this with a full realized concept. And yes, of course, my mother stood out to me. Get over it. That's what I'm watching the show for. Said it from jump. Well, I just don't understand why people get so mad. I'm like, if you had a drag mother on the show, wouldn't you too be rooting for them?
Also,
and rooting for them like
they're
openly?
Your drag mother.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, if you said anything extremely negative, you would get hit in the back of the head.
Oh, well, trust me. Alyssa did say, don't you go up on your podcast talking about what all the kids are saying this week. The thing that you had texted me. She said, don't you be talking about that. I was like, I won't say a word. But she said she cannot confirm nor deny if this
And
alleged situation happened.
And I will bring up the alleged situation to which Laganja will not talk about a little bit later, just so you have a little reference, everybody. But let's get into the actual looks.
Okay.
First up, we had Queen Kong and Misoa Demuse. I thought this makeup was actually very identical to me.
I loved the makeup. I thought the makeup was great. Did I think it was as, oh my God, as everyone was making it? No. But I thought she looked nice. I also don't remember this. I was watching this with two friends and they were like, yeah, Soa didn't really have good makeup. Did she not?
No.
I remember the judges making a critique on it, but I don't personally
remember. They made
remember.
a critique, and then that last episode,
She changed it.
Queen helped her with her makeup, and then the judges were like, oh my gosh, you look beautiful here.
Right. So I think that's all storyline because
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, her makeup, I never stood out as that bad.
I don't think that it was that bad. I think it was a lot more harsh as opposed to like more of a blended. It was a lot more like you kind of saw things a little bit.
Why did I think she was so soft and femme? This goes to show you. I guess I haven't been watching, but I thought the makeup looked good and was very identical, and I thought the cheap outfits were also identical. So if we were going for twins, it was twinning, but the outfits for me were a flop.
I think that Queen Kong did a great job on Soa's makeup. I think that they look very, very of the same mother from the makeup. The issue that I have, like you said, is the clothing. I think that the dress, and I am so sick of
Goldblum and Black. We've
Yeah.
seen this too much.
And I'm also sick of Queen just always putting on a corset over every single outfit.
I forgot that was a pet peeve of
Like,
hers.
I get it, but like to me, if you're doing it that much, it's taking away from the actual aesthetic of the outfit to me.
Sure.
And so it's like,
So it becomes one silhouette.
Yeah.
There's not a variation there.
but I also think it's like you could have the prettiest dress and then you're putting a corset over it. It's like you're taking away from the illusion that I want.
Okay. So you would prefer if she was like me and wore her corset underneath her outfit.
Yes.
I'm definitely corseted today.
Hey.
I added a waist trainer to the faja, which is so exciting because I'm just like,
Well, you're
so
perking
skinny.
today too.
I'm what?
Perkin.
Am I perky today?
Perkin.
Yes. Well,
Did you ever have a Perkins?
a Perkins?
Yeah.
Is that like the
It's like a
cheap
restaurant?
version of the Birkins?
No. It was
Oh, I
like a
don't know
restaurant.
her.
Okay, well, it was kind of like a
Don't you say Chili's because ain't nothing like it.
No, it was not like a Chili's.
Okay.
I will say it was like a think of a Luby's,
Oh, I love a Luby's.
but without the cafeteria element.
Okay, but that is Luby's. You mean the food was just like,
Okay, well, let's think
Home
about this.
style?
Did you ever have Shoney's?
no?
Oh my
What is Shoney's? Where did you grow up again? Ohio?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay, I knew it was somewhere Cutter Bucket-ish. I don't know these restaurants. What is the second one like? Oni's?
A Shoney's? I was trying. Okay, so a Perkins and a Shoney's are very similar. So I thought if I just had one and the other, but
Okay.
now I have two that are similar and not another one I can compare it to.
Is it like Applebee's or a
Okay.
Fridays?
Okay. Think of an Applebee's,
Okay.
and then think of an Applebee's with 75% old people.
Okay. Okay. Now I can see the Luby's reference because that was very like an old
Yes.
people place.
So it's more of like for your retirement community,
like
or
a
whatever.
Golden Corral. But
I've
that's
actually
buffet
never
style. I've never been either.
Oh,
I
maybe we
know.
should go.
Should we? I
we
get
should
nervous
vlog
about
it.
buffets.
We should vlog it.
I get nervous about buffets.
Well, what are you nervous about?
Germs, people, little kids
Yeah.
sticking their paws in there, and
Maybe we go right when they open. We're like, we wait for the rope to be cut. We're
no,
like,
you know how I like a buffet when it's behind a counter and being served to me.
like Luby's.
Like Luby's, right? I can get into her. It's just when it's out in the open air, and I get nervous. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've eaten at many a buffet in my day. I do love them, but the older I've gotten, the more I'm a little like, okay, this is sus.
You know what my favorite food to eat at a buffet is?
What? Mac and cheese?
No.
Oh.
It's always the soft serve ice cream.
Oh, for sure.
'Cause I'm
oh my
like-
God, yes.
I know exactly what it's going to taste like. I can add my little things to it.
Yeah.
I get to pull it. Oh.
Did you ever have like a Pizza Hut buffet?
Oh my gosh, yes.
They used to have them back in the day. And they did. They had the macaroni. Girl, that was sickening. They had the salad. I love a good salad bar. Ooh, Soup Plantation. I hate the name, but love the restaurant.
Is
We
it
used to
gone
have it
now?
out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. But it was just like a bunch of different soups and salads and breads and pizzas and pastas and obsessed. I guess I like a buffet now that I'm thinking.
You're like, oh, maybe I do.
Yeah, but old people buffet. Okay, we'll have to add this to our list. So they don't have them out here, right? No Perkins and a Shoney. What names?
Yeah.
I love the names.
Like Perkins and a Shoney's.
I love them. We're going to have to try them.
Did you ever go to a Lambert's?
No, but I've heard of that. That's like a steakhouse.
They throw the rolls at you.
What?
Yeah, they had like randomly.
Is it a steakhouse? Was I right on that?
Lambert's. I think it may be a steakhouse. I don't know. All I know is it was the home of throwing rolls.
Okay.
So throughout your experience, there will be somebody that comes with a basket of rolls and throw them at you.
What about a Cracker Barrel?
Okay.
Is it like a Cracker Barrel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I love Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel's great.
Because that's also kind of old people.
Yeah.
But so good.
I love playing the games at Cracker Barrel that they put on
your table. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The little peg
Chili's
games.
now has a computer on the tables, and you can play games on the computer, but not as fun as like the crayons and all that.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let's get into our next queen.
I love how we went from talking about Queen to that.
We had Miss Alyssa Edwards and Ava Edwards in their, what would you call this? Like a 50s, 60s?
Totally 60s, mod. Whoever she had gotten would have been able to fit in the outfit, you know, because it's such an open framed outfit. So I thought that was really smart of Alyssa in that way. And I loved the cohesion. I loved the story. This was definitely my favorite. Personally, I really did love this. I do think that it was Nelly's time to win, and her outfits were stunning. Mm-hmm. But I thought for like originality, you know me, I'm gonna always find a reason why she should have won.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it. I thought she killed it. This look in particular, it just was so store-bought. There was just nothing elevated about it. And like maybe the marabou feathers that were on the bottom, if they had big boas like Alyssa and Ava, you know, or like they just needed another element. It was too simple. And I also did not get why Miranda was like, I don't want to be here. I didn't get the story either. I was with the judges.
I think that the story was supposed to be like, oh, it's your perky great sister and you're like the little shit that doesn't want to do anything. Also, like...
But why?
I don't know. But did like Kitty like do her makeup and stick her head in a blender?
You thought the makeup was bad?
I thought it was bad.
I thought it was kind of soft.
I thought it was very harsh.
I thought it was soft. I thought she looked kind of femme. No.
Well, I think that the contours were very, very harsh for what Kitty's makeup is.
Okay.
And I didn't see the family resemblance.
I didn't either. I mean, you know, I thought this was the worst, to be honest.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that.
And like the little sleep masks. I don't know, just cheese.
Next up, we had Nelania and Zirconia, who would be Pythia. Her story was about the moons coming together. I thought these outfits were really pretty.
Stunning outfits. Are you kidding?
I love the feathers. I love that they both use the same color hair, like that red that Nelania is known for. I thought that I understood kind of what the girls were saying in the workroom about Pythia's makeup being a little harsh. Because I know that Queen Kong said it.
I know when she was like, I could see that beard. I was like,
I couldn't see the beard.
I couldn't either.
I understood though that like Pythia's makeup is normally more of like an abstract, and it's kind of like there, and it's of a moment. And I believe that Nelania's makeup is a little bit more of a cut and a you know what I mean? Like it's more, what would you call that? It's not as smooth, I guess you would say. Is that what you would say?
Interesting. Well, I think what you're trying to say is that,
yes, please.
You know, Pythia has more of an artistic approach to makeup that can be abstract, that can lend itself into one specific look, and the makeup being a part of that one specific look. Where Nelly's, her look is more generic. Not saying it's not beautiful. Of course it is. As she says, she's a professional makeup artist, but it does have a more paint by numbers feel where it stays the same every week, where I think Pythia changed it up. We never knew what we were going to get from her, you know?
Yeah. And I think that they looked alike. In all honesty, I thought that Pythia's makeup looked like Nelania's makeup.
I did too.
I thought their outfits were great. For me personally, that was my favorite of the night.
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job, and it was time for a Nelly win, so I'm very happy that she got that.
Me too.
Next up, we had Tessa Testicle and Athena Breasticle. I thought this was Denali.
Interesting. I can see that.
I saw a Denali in the face.
I can see that for sure. I loved this. I thought this was so fun. And this is a story that I did get, and it did make sense to me. So I liked the story that they were telling. You know, the judges said something about they didn't see the family resemblance. I don't understand that. That looks just like Tessa. Maybe because Tessa didn't have on the big boobs this time or something. I don't know, but I totally saw it. I loved it. I thought this one was definitely in the top for me.
Vanity Vein and Insanity Vein. This was probably my least favorite.
Worse than Kitty's?
No. Second to least favorite.
Yeah, I would agree. The white boot with the black boot, I couldn't do it, girl. I couldn't do it. I don't know why. I know we thought we were being creative in that choice, but I just thought, no.
They only had a pair of black boots and a pair of white boots, and then they each gave each other one.
No, I think you wear white, I'll wear black. I don't know. I just don't like the match. It just felt very like... Ugh, I just didn't get it. There's no black on their outfit. There isn't no white on their outfit either. So I don't know. I just thought overall the styling, everything, it just was a very underwhelming. But was it? No, it's not the second worst, girl. I think it would have to go Kitty, Queen, and then that. You think that outfit's worse than Queen's? That was just like a black stretch dress with some... No.
But
so that's the third worst.
Yes. I will say I did agree with the judges' critiques that I wish that Vanity would have used the white on.
Okay. I did think she looked painted, her partner.
Oh, she did. I just thought like Vanity's one thing that she always does, like her white brow.
Sure.
And I'm like, that would have tied it in a little bit more.
Sure.
But yeah, I would say that my bottom was, I would probably say Kitty, Queen, Vanity,
right,
Tessa, Alyssa, and then Nelania for me.
Okay.
So
work.
I would say Nelania, Alyssa, and Tessa were my top three.
Yeah, me too.
I did absolutely love that they brought in the judge from Drag Race Germany.
She was fabulous.
Diane Brill. She was going at it. She was giving I love when they like
are present.
Yes.
Yes, and want to be there.
Yes.
Yeah, and also look the part. She looked amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know if were they being serious that she knew RuPaul back in the day?
Oh, I have no idea.
Bro, RuPaul.
I'm sure they were. No?
They like made a comment about it, and now I'm like really wondering, did they know each other?
They're both very established,
yeah.
AKA old. So I think they do know each other.
Here's a picture of her from an 80s TV show. Diane says boobs and high heels attract all the men.
Iconic. A very RuPaul.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we end up with our tops and our bottoms. But the girls go into the workroom before, and this is where the drama happened. Mm-hmm. So the girls are talking about how they think that they did. Queen Kong ends up bringing up that she is not a fan of Nelania's makeup on Pythia. She's not a fan of the look. She thinks that she did better. She thinks that Pythia looks like a man, that her makeup and her beard and everything were showing. I think that this is what gets me. I think you can always have an opinion on something. I think you can always say, you know what? I think that this went one way. I think you could have done this. But if somebody is happy and the judges are happy that they did a good job, and the judges are like, you know what? You really fucking killed it. You knocked it out of the park this week. Good job. And then if you go back into the workroom and somebody wants to tell you why it's not good, it's like, you're not the judge. You're not judging. And for you to say this opinion is literally just shitting on me because why?
Right.
And that's how I viewed it. I viewed it more as a shitting incident. Mm-hmm. And there's a rumor on the interwebs that Laganja was briefly discussing earlier that Nelania went onto an Instagram live this past weekend and basically said that through that fight and through everything, that Alyssa actually got involved, talking or having a verbal fightish with Queen Kong, and basically was sticking up for Nelania. And there also was rumors on the interwebs that it became a very big thing and could have potentially become physical. I don't know if that's true, but there apparently was something that was cut out that may have been led us to understand a little bit more about the situation.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I've been sworn to secrecy, so I cannot confirm nor deny thy altercation.
Yeah. Do you prefer that things like that, if this were true, were to go in? Like, would you want to see stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, give us drama. Yeah. Are you kidding? Yeah, I would have loved to have seen it.
Yeah.
if it was real.
Well, we get our bottom two for the first time this season, Miss Kitty Scott-Claus and Miss Vanity Vane, to Believe by Cher.
Right.
And Vanity Vane went home.
Yep, she did. I didn't think this lip sync was particularly great. I'll be honest.
No.
And I thought the only reason Kitty won was because she was making Rue laugh. It's not like she was really fully, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't love the lip sync, to be honest. But I definitely knew that Vanity was going to go home. I mean, this was her third or fourth time, right?
This was the fourth.
This was the fourth,
Yeah.
right. So I was like, okay. Again, why people thought Tessa would be the one to go home this week, I was like so confused
that's very
by that.
confusing.
Yeah. Again, maybe there's something we're not seeing. But yeah, I think this felt like the right choice.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't think either one of them was particularly great in the actual lip sync.
Yeah, I agree with that. But that's what happens, and we now have our top 5.
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
It's crazy.
So what, like 2 more episodes, we think?
2 to 3, right?
Yeah.
Because we'll do next week will be top 4.
And then I don't know, they may do like a
3 or
old school
4,
way or 3 or
right.
4.
Right, I don't either.
But hey, have to figure it out.
We're about to get our global all-star, baby. I think that's right. Alyssa said that the final episode is October 25th. So that's 2 weeks away, right?
So if it's October 25th, that would be, we'd have an episode. So it would be a top 3 if that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, I think that's what she said was that would be the crowning because I leave the 24th to Texas. So I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be with you. And then she was like, I'm not going to be in public. I was like, really? I was shocked by that. But she was like, I just don't know how I'm going to act. So I was like, well, that's fair enough. I respect that,
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm hoping she wins, and she is great, but I can understand, too, that if she doesn't, this will be the third loss for the House of Edwards. That's not going to be something she would really want to experience in public.
No.
So
No.
I can understand that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
On that note, I think that you and I are going to go next door and get some food and chat
Yes,
about
chips
what we're
and
going to
salsa.
do.
I'm so excited.
So yeah, Laganja and I are going to be chatting after this episode to figure out how we are going to morph, mold, and do whatever to queening out once we get done with this Drag Race season. We have some ideas, and we're going to kind of hash out. If you have any ideas of things that you want to see, things you don't want to see, let us know in the comments down below, or send us an email at laganjos@gmail.com, LAGANJOES, gmail.com.
Perfect. Love it. We'll see you guys next week. Have a sickening week. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.